The worst president Ghana has ever had since independence is Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Ghana, 2017 to 2024. He is a Ghanaian politician, a lawyer, a founding member of New Patriotic Party, NPP, who has served as the 5th president of Ghana under the 4th Republic since 2017 to date, and the 13th president or head of state in the history of Ghana. He became the president of Ghana at the age of 72 and currently at 80. He previously served as Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Ghana from 2001 to 2003, and as a Minister for Foreign Affairs from 2003 to 2007 under elsewhere President Akufo-Addo administration. As president-elect, Nana Akufo-Addo plagiarized 2 ex-U.S. president's speeches in his inaugural speech address on 7th January 2017.
I ask you to be citizens.
Take a look at it.
I ask you to be citizens.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not spectators.
Citizens, not subjects.
Citizens, not subjects.
Responsible citizens, building communities of service and a nation of character.
Responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
He was noted to be the leader and one of the organizers of the biggest demonstration in the history of Ghana, known as Kume Preku demonstration, against introduction of value-added tax, VAT, in 1995. During President Rawlings' administration, this was what he said during the demonstration.
That's right. The problem is that we haven't.
The policies that the government has been implementing are policies that do not find favor with the general mass of our people, and that the mass of the people of this country have been systematically impoverished during the period of Rawlings' rule.
But today, President Akufo-Addo's administration has introduced more than 28 tax handles to the people of Ghana and has subsequently increased the value-added tax as well. Akufo-Addo first ran for president in 2008 and again in 2012, both times as the candidate of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, but he lost on both occasions to the National Democratic Congress, NDC, candidates, John Evans Atta Mills in 2008 and John Dramani Mahama in 2012. After the 2012 general elections, Akufo-Addo refused to concede defeat and proceeded to court to challenge the electoral results. But the Supreme Court of Ghana affirmed Mahama's victory. This was what Nana Addo said after the Supreme Court verdict.
If I disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict, so we can all move on in the interest of our nation.
Akufo-Addo was again chosen as the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, for the 3rd time in the 2016 general elections, and this time round, he defeated the incumbent President John Mahama in the first-round ballot with 53.85% of the vote, and was declared the winner of the 2016 presidential general election. He campaigned based on major issues confronting Ghana at the time, like high unemployment, corruption, exchange rate, protection of the public purse, and promises such as Planting for Food and Jobs, Nation Builders Corps, NABCO, for job creation, One Village, One Dam, One District, One Factory, free senior high school, and many others. But when he was asked on BBC Hard Talk about the cost of free senior high school, he did not know the cost. And this was what he said.
The Ghanaian press want to know is, where exactly is the money going to come from next time around, if you're in power, for some of the very extravagant promises you've made? You, for example, have offered free secondary schooling for all Ghanaians, a promise you say you absolutely will deliver in 4 years in power.
Absolutely.
So have you costed it? How much will it cost?
The costing is being done. I mean, very, very soon we will be in a position.
You must have costed it. You can't make a promise like that.
No. Very soon we're going to be putting it out.
You don't know how much.
I do know how much, but I prefer to tell the Ghanaian people directly before I tell.
because he did not think through the program proper in order to cost it, just sloganeering. However, in 2020, he somehow again secured an outright majority victory in his second term bid for the presidency at the first round of the 2020 general election with 51.59% of the vote cast, defeating John Mahama for the second time, but with 7 human deaths in that election, first in the history of Ghana's elections. Akufo-Addo's government initially drew broad popularity and support from the Ghanaian public, promising a nationalistic agenda of government by declaring Ghana beyond aid agenda, which was lauded by the whole continent and the nation behind him. The first term of President Akufo-Addo regime saw appointments of over 125 ministers of states and their deputies, which ballooned the government expenditure in the history of the country, which many critics call as job for the boys. However, in his second term in office, this number dropped down to about 80-plus ministers. Nana Akufo-Addo's government has implemented policies aimed at fostering economic growth, improving infrastructure, and enhancing social welfare programs and digitalization. Initiatives such as the free senior high school program have expanded access to education for Ghanaian youths, but currently the program has failed due to improper planning and implementation of the program, though the FSHS program has seen a significant increase in enrollment figures. There are a lot of challenges bedeviling the program, such as lack of accommodation, infrastructure, quality, feeding, and logistics. While Planting for Food and Jobs initiative was aimed at boosting agricultural productivity and food sufficiency, as well as job creation, the program has also failed miserably due to improper planning and reckless spending and ended up at sloganeering stage. President Akufo-Addo's administration also rolled out several flagship programs, such as One District, One Factory, One Village, One Dam, Operation Galem, Stop, One Constituency, $1 million, to address key challenges facing the nation. But all these were fiasco. Most of them had become avenues for government officials to loot or siphon state resources for personal gains. The latter part of Akufo-Addo's tenure has, however, been marred by the worst financial crises in the history of Ghana, with inflation reaching up to 53% in 2023, and currently around 25%, with high unemployment rate hovering around 14%. While the exchange rate has hit a record high of $1 to 13 cedis. During his campaign in 2014-2015, this was what President Akufo-Addo said about the exchange rate.
$1, 1 CD. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 CDs, $1. If I was them, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done.
His government has, however, attributed all the challenges to Russia-Ukrainian war and the COVID-19 pandemic, though COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war play some role in the economic downturn. Many neutral observers and political watchers around the world point to mismanagement of public funds, excessive borrowing, and corruption. Akufo-Addo's government has also gone on a borrowing spree under the auspices of the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, nicknamed Mr. Eurobond Minister, and has borrowed the country to unsustainable debt level and eventually took the country to IMF for bailout in May 2023, subjecting the country to both domestic and foreign debt restructuring, leaving domestic creditors with haircut. Let's look at some of the statistical figures under his predecessor, John Dramani Mahama, and President Akufo-Addo regime. In 2016, under President Mahama, inflation was 15%. Public debt was 120 billion cedis since independence. Unemployment rate was 6.8%. Debt to GDP was 56%. Credit rating was B+. While under President Nana Akufo-Addo in 2024, inflation is 25%, public debt is 610 billion cedis, unemployment rate is 14%, Debt to GDP is 103%, credit rating is junk status, corruption perception index 2023 is 43 points. It should be noted that all these worse economic indicators were supervised by the Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, an economist who is currently vying for the presidency. Press freedom has significantly deteriorated under President Akufo-Addo, the man who, they said, fought for the repeal of the criminal libel law under former President Rawlings. His government has recorded the highest family and friends government in the history of Ghana, and probably the highest in Africa. He has appointed almost every member of his family into government positions. Some of the failed projects or policies the Akufo-Addo government has wasted money on are the National Cathedral, the Accra Sky Train Infrastructure, PDS, NABCO, etc. Though many Ghanaians view Akufo-Addo government as the worst government under all republics in Ghana, his government has achieved some strides in areas such as free senior high school education with higher enrollment figures, digitalization agenda, implementation of Ghana Card, and some level of infrastructure development in areas of roads and hospitals. President Akufo-Addo's government is synonymous with corruption. There was no government project signed without the stink of corruption. Under his leadership, the former Chief Executive Officer of the Public Procurement Authority, PPA, Ajanim Boateng Ajay, owns a company that bids for government projects and sell at exorbitant prices and made millions of dollars. Though the president had relieved him off his post, the man is still walking free with the looted state money in his pocket. Another serious corruption scandal under President Akufo-Addo was the Cecilia Dapa money hoarding scandal. The former Minister of Water and Sanitation Minister resigned, who was hoarding so much foreign currency in millions and Ghana cedis in her bedroom, which she could not account for, but she's still walking free and enjoying the loots. Other corruption scandals include PDS, Agiapa deal, sole sourcing procurement issues, lack of accountability and transparency of government contracts, etc. Under President Akufo-Addo government, the least talk about corruption and wastage of state funds, the better. The government could not account for the COVID-19 funds during the COVID pandemic era. Major promises, failures include economic mismanagement, nepotism, family and friend government, corruption, incompetence of government appointees, reckless spending, empty talks, shielding of corrupt appointees, double standard in terms of rule of law and lack of fiscal discipline, etc. The issue of LGBTQ+ rights has been a contentious topic in Ghanaian society, with divergent views on how to address it. The president has been seen as indecisive on his opinion of the LGBTQ+ bill. He's currently waiting on the ruling from the Supreme Court before either to accent or not to. In conclusion, President Nana Akufo-Addo's leadership has left an indelible mark on Ghana's political landscape, putting a lot of Ghanaians to disappointment. He's currently in his last year in office. He could do some good to redeem his dented image by cracking the whip to fight corruption under his leadership and add some positive legacies in addition to the haphazard implementation of the free senior high school program. While his tenure has seen some notable achievements, challenges remain, underscoring the ongoing need for effective governance, transparency, accountability, and a fight against corruption. As Ghana continues its journey towards progress and prosperity, the legacy of President Akufo-Addo will undoubtedly shape the nation's future for generations to come, with debt unsustainability, mega corruption in the country's history under his poor leadership. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Bye.